Sydney, Brisbane and Melbourne are the top 3 big cities in Australia. But if you'd like to live somewhere else, you're in luck. Everywhere outside those cities is considered regional for the purposes of immigration. And if you choose to study in a regional area, there are incentives such as faster visa processing, more job choices on the regional occupation lists, an extra year on a graduate visa if you studied in a regional area. Plus, it's usually quieter and cheaper to live outside the big 3 cities, which is ideal if you want to have a family. What you need to know about Western Australia is it's really big. Perth is the capital city, but the entire state is around the same size as all of Western Europe. Perth is a few hours ahead of Melbourne and Sydney due to the time zone difference, which might make calling home a bit easier. There are 6 universities in Perth. Western Australia is home to many mining sites, so the biggest focuses tend to be on oil and gas and metals. With a warm climate and more affordable housing, Perth is a great place to study if you want to have a family. Study in Western Australia if you're interested in earth sciences and natural resources. The NT hosts some of Australia's most striking landscapes, like Uluru and Kakadu National Park. It also has one of the youngest populations of any Australian state or territory, with the median age being 32 years. If you're in Darwin, you'll have the benefit of being closer to the rest of the world, which means shorter flights to much of Southeast Asia. If you choose Alice Springs, you'll be right in the red centre of Australia, which is a unique cultural experience. The Northern Territory doesn't boast as many universities as other states, but it has plenty of vocational colleges where you can learn trades, businesses, childcare, cooking and more. With a low density of population, the cost of living in NT is low by Australian standards, and the way of life is more relaxed. Study in the Northern Territory if you want to see the Australian outback. Tasmania is an island off the south coast of Australia and is a lot cooler than the rest of the nation. The population here is lower than Sydney and Melbourne, which means lower costs of living and higher safety ratings. Tasmania is covered by pristine wilderness and unique wildlife and has rich cultural history, and you are always about 10 minutes away from the countryside. Because of this, the University of Tasmania offers world-class agriculture and biodiversity courses, as well as marine and Antarctic studies. Study in Tasmania if you love the outdoors. ACT, the Australian Capital Territory, home of the nation's capital, Canberra. Boasting Australia's highest rating university, the Australian National University, Canberra will set you up with a top quality education. Graduates in Canberra have plenty of job opportunities in government and public service, and the salaries here are higher than average. The cost of living in the ACT is lower than Sydney and Melbourne. Although food is slightly more expensive, rent in Canberra is on average 39% lower than in Sydney. Study in the ACT if you want to work in government. Last but not least is South Australia with its capital of Adelaide, our hometown. Adelaide was crowned the world's 3rd most livable city in 2021 and number 1 for quality of life. South Australia has a Mediterranean climate which is perfect for growing grapes and fresh produce. So if you like a career in food and wine, this is a great place to be. It is also home to 4 excellent universities and a range of vocational colleges offering everything from law and business to IT and hospitality. South Australia is not as populated as the major capitals, so the cost of living is lower and the traffic is easier to navigate. Study in South Australia if you love good food and wine. Outside of the capital cities, there are plenty of smaller towns and cities throughout Australia. Remember to subscribe to our channel and click the bell to be notified of any updates. Thanks for watching our profile of the regional parts of Australia, which can be a good place to live and study.